All right, greetings everybody. We're going to review how to use Power Web if you're a broker today. So we're going to go through such things as posting your loads and searching your trucks and how to use alarm matches and those sort of things. So hopefully you'll get something out of this training and learn a lot. So we're going to get right started here by going over the landing page, because there's a couple key things here that you're going to want to pay attention to. In particular, the first thing I want to cover is down at the bottom lower left here where it says most popular feedback. The reason why I like to bring this up to you guys right away is the fact that you're really the ones designing how Power Web works in the future. It's your ideas, it's your thoughts that you guys tell us about that we implement into the software going forward. So as you can see, we're getting votes on certain ideas and features that people have asked for. And the more votes we get, the more likely we are to implement the feature that you're requesting. So definitely take advantage of the feedback. If you have any feedback whatsoever while you're using DAT Power Web, you'll notice this little feedback button in the lower left-hand corner. And when you click on it, you can either vote on someone else's feedback and add your weight to their suggestion, or you can create your own brand new suggestion that no one else has had, and they can vote on yours. So take advantage of that. Again, it's you guys that are designing how Power Web works and what features it has in the future. The other thing I want to point out on this page here is the fact that we have a little help center up here. Under your question mark, you can see Help Center. And I do like to point this out to everybody, because inside the Help Center we have a lot of different things that can help you guys out without necessarily having to get on the phone or chat with somebody to try to figure things out. We have a bunch of training videos, for instance. The session that we're doing right now, we actually have a couple recorded sessions for broker, one for carrier, but we also have just the basics here: how to post your load, how to search for trucks, those sort of things that you're wanting to know how to do. 2 to 4 minute videos here showing you and walking you through all these things. We also have a complete training manual located here as well that can answer a lot of your questions, in addition to release notes and frequently asked questions. So going over that, the next thing I want to touch base with is the actual freight matching itself. So as a broker, and hopefully everybody that's joined up today are brokers, because this is the broker session, you'll notice that at the top of your screen you have some different choices up here. In your case, you'll have post loads, search trucks, and unless you're a carrier as well, you'll have the ability to search for loads. I have post trucks up here because in the system I'm listed as a broker, carrier both. But if you're a broker only, you're not going to have that ability to post trucks up here, and you'll only see 3 of these tabs. So let's get right into what it's like to advertise your freight. We're going to do that right under the post loads tab. And when you click on that, you're going to notice there are 2 major sections to this tab. And the first one, the upper part, is where your postings actually go. These are all the postings that you have entered into the system, or people in your office have entered in the system. Down below in this section, this is where all your matches show up. This is where every time you put a load in the system, if there are any matches to it, you're going to see them listed down below. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and repost this one so you can see what that looks like if there's any matches from Dallas to Houston right now. And you can see that there is 1 match to that, and this is where it's going to get located. So 2 sections: your postings and then all the matches to your postings. We're going to go over now how to actually put a new posting into the system. So we do that by clicking on the new load post button, and you're presented with this form to fill out. And I'm sure most of you guys have already filled something like this out, either with us or another company. This is just a typical posting form here. So let's just go over what the fields are. You have your date, obviously that's when your load is available, but you also have a time frame that you can put in. This is something, remember when I just talked to you guys about feedback? This is some of the feedback we got from you guys saying that, you know, we have a dock schedule, and a carrier can't just show up whenever they want. They have to show up between, let's say, noon and 2. So this is a place where you can actually indicate that. So noon and 2. So this is a free form field, and it will be seen by any carrier that is looking for your load, and they'll know exactly the time frame that they have to be there to pick it up. Now, this is, by filling this out, you're actually going to prevent a lot of wasted phone calls coming into your company. Carriers that can't get there in time, they're not going to, you know, knowing that it's noon and 2, they're not going to waste your time and call you if they're not able to get there in that time frame. So, and that kind of kicks off a theme that I'll be talking about on this posting form, and that is the more information that you put into this form, the better off you're going to be at the end of the day. You're not going to get a lot of wasted phone calls from carriers who found out that your commodity was something they can't haul, or they found out that the time frame that had to be there was something they couldn't make. So the more details we enter, the better off those conversations will be, and you're not going to get a bunch of wasted phone calls into your company. The next field over is your origin, and we're going to do that in a city, state format, or if you know the zip code of the city that you want, you can type the zip code in as well. I'm going to type in this particular posting, I'll indicate that I have a load in Dallas, Texas. Actually, since I already used Dallas once, how about I use Little Rock, Arkansas? So I start typing Little out, and you can see that it's actually populating the list based on all the cities in the United States that start with Little, and Little Rock is right up there on the list, so I can select that one. And now I'm going to put the destination in, and in this case, I will indicate that it's going to Denver, Colorado. Again, a city, state format. Now, let's stop for a second, because I'm not sure if you realize what just happened, but two things just popped up as soon as we put in the origin and destination. The first thing that popped up is the mileage. So right off the bat, you're able to see that that's a 962-mile trip right there. So in addition to this being a posting form, you can also use this form to do a quick mileage lookup between any 2 points of city points that you have. So just put the cities in, and as soon as you do, there your mileage will show up. In addition to that showing up, you're also seeing the broker spot rate over here, and that's based on not only the origin and destination, but the type of equipment you have selected. In this case, you can see that the broker spot rate is between Little Rock and in Denver is $2.49 a mile right now. Okay, so what is that based off of anyways? Well, by clicking on it, we can find that out. When you click on the broker spot link there, it's going to take you to this little page, and it's going to tell you exactly what it's based off of. In this case, it's based off a van rate from the last 30 days from the Little Rock market to the Denver market. And that $2.31, if you add the fuel surcharge onto it, you can see that the total is $2.49. And of course, the fuel surcharge that we add on is the weekly Department of Energy fuel surcharge that is released every week. So we tack that on there, and you can see it's $2.49. It's also based on 7 different companies submitting 14 different reports in the last 30 days. Now, I'm seeing all this detailed information, and I'm seeing 30 days, and I could actually see as little as 7 days because I have a rate view subscription. If you do not also subscribe to our rate view service, you're still going to see a broker spot rate, but it might not be based on such a low a time frame or region like you're seeing here. So if you don't subscribe to RateView, we offer you what's called a broker spot light rate, and that's based off a 90-day average from expanded market to expanded market. So a bigger time frame, a bigger geography, not as accurate as you can get if you subscribe to RateView, but still a very good indication of exactly how much brokers are paying carriers right now between these two cities that you're seeing here. So very good handy tool, and remember, all you need to do is pull up your posting form, put in an origin and destination and an equipment type. You notice if I switch over from van and make it a flatbed, for instance, you'll see that it automatically adjusts to the flatbed rate between those two cities, which is $2.21. So those are two things that you can do with a posting form without even posting. Just typing in that step will generate that information for you. Now, getting back to the actual posting itself, I also have the ability to put in my dock hours. So I can put in this, maybe it needs to be delivered on January 2nd, and it needs to be delivered between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. So I can put in, January 2nd here, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's, again, going to tell the carrier that it needs to be delivered on this day in this time frame. If you're not able to do that, don't bother calling me. Don't waste my time. Again, the more details, the better we are. We kind of touched base with equipment type already, and you can see the equipment type list here is just our standard equipment types you've seen in our other products. And all you got to do is start typing out what you have, and we will start bringing that up to the very top of the list. So if I want to make it a van, I just select van there, and now I have my Little Rock to Denver van. Full or partial, how big of a load is it? Is it a full load or a partial load? And then the length and weight. And hopefully you guys can see, if you've used our products in the past, you're going to notice a difference with the weight, and that is that it's in 5 digits now. We made that change based on feedback from our customers asking for to be able to put in a more specific weight. In the past, we just put in 2 digits. 48 was 48,000, but not in today's world. If you actually wanted to post this right now, we're going to warn you and tell you that, yeah, that weight's a little bit low. Is that really what you wanted? And if it's not, then you're going to have to fix that. Because if you were to post this right now, you'd be advertising a 48-pound load instead of a 48,000-pound load. So a little trick for you guys who do like still using the 2 digits, if you just put a K at the end of your 2 digits, so 48K, we'll know that that's 48,000. We'll put the zeros on there for you. The next field over is a rate, and I know this is a field that most brokers do not populate, but I do want to share some information with you from carriers that may actually change your mind on whether you want to fill this out or not. Carriers, I do carrier training too, and I talk to carriers a lot during the day, and I'm finding that a lot of carriers nowadays are actually sorting their search results, not by age, not by deadhead to origin, so they can find the one that's right next door so they don't have to burn any diesel, but they're actually sorting it by rate. And what that's doing is it's pulling all the people the brokers who actually did post a rate, it's pulling those all the way to the top of the list, and that's what they're starting with. So by not putting a rate on, all those carriers now that are sorting by rate, they might not even see your posting because they're looking for the ones with rates on them, and that's it. The reasoning for that is they want to know how much it is before they call, whether it's worth calling or not. So just a little helpful information for you guys, and I would encourage you guys to put a rate on there if you know what the rate's going to be. So in this case, I'm going to use the broker spot rate and say that I will pay, let's go a little bit under that, I'll pay $2.30 a mile for this particular load. So $2.30, I switch from flat to per mile, and that's how much I'm advertising now. Now, reference ID is a field down here used if internally, if you guys assign IDs to your shipment, this is where you could put it. So maybe this Little Rock of Denver has a reference ID of 15487, and that's so when carriers call me up and they use that reference ID, I can find it quickly in my system. Now, not all brokers, assign reference IDs to shippers, but if you do, or to your shipments, but if you do, you can definitely put it in here. The only thing we ask is that field has to be unique. So if I put this posting in right now, I cannot put another posting in with a reference ID of 15487. I'd have to choose a unique one. The next field over is for your contact information. So how do you want these folks to get a hold of you when they see your posting? You can see that we have 3 options in here, a primary number, an alternate number, and an email address. So any one of these things you choose, that's what's going to show up on your posting when people are looking at it. So one comment I have on that is if your information that you're looking at right now is not correct in there, please let us know. Just get a hold of us by phone, or you can email us, or even chat with us, and we can fix that online for you. And all you have to do is log out and back in, and those changes will be reflected. So again, let us know if that information for you is not correct. We also have some comment lines here, and that's really to say something that you can't say anywhere else on this posting. Like maybe I want to list that they should call Eric at extension 687, and that's just so they know who to get a hold of when they ring you up there. And or maybe I want to list that a 102-inch required, or a 102-inch wide is required, and I can just put that in there. And again, they're going to see this now when they're looking at my posting. And the last one that we want to fill out, and again, this goes right in line with the more information you put in, the better off you're going to be here, and that is list your commodity. I know it's an extra field, but there's certain commodities that some carriers just simply can't haul. So they won't, if you don't fill that out, they won't know that until they call you and find out, oh, it's a bunch of electronic equipment. I don't have the insurance to cover that, so I guess I can't haul it. Well, they just wasted your time, and their time got wasted too, just because they didn't know that it was electronics that were being sent. And other ones like tobacco or alcohol, things that require a lot of insurance, some carriers just can't haul that. So so listing the commodity is going to help them out. So we have this completely filled out now, and we can post it, but there are 2 options you may want to consider using before you actually hit the post button. The first one is that set audible alarm. Now, like I mentioned earlier, your matches are going to show up down here to this posting. But if you want your computer to ring you and actually sound off an alarm each time a new match shows up down here, all you got to do is hit the set alarm button, and you'll hear that audible alarm go off every time. The other option is this post to extended network, which you can see in my case is already selected, and it says complimentary or with subscription. I am using a subscription here as a national or key account, and that comes with a national or key account subscription. So automatically their postings go to this extended network. If you're not a national or key account though, and you're using this feature, it will cost you $2 per posting per day. So what that gets you though is exposure to a lot more people that would never even see this posting because they're not even customers of ours. What I mean by that is we have a free app out there in the Android and iPhone markets. It's called My DAT Trucker. And a lot of people out there have downloaded this app now. In actuality, we've had over 200,000 people download it. We've gotten quite a few people that use it every single day. And these are just drivers out there on the road that open up this app, and it tells them what loads are around where they're at right now. And they can find those loads, and they can call those companies up when they find them. And all of that is completely free for them. Now, you putting this posting in to the extended network is allowing all of those people that have downloaded the app from us to see this posting. It's replaced the old truck stop network we used to have, where we had monitors and all the truck stops around the United States, and it would show you what loads were around that truck stop. We no longer have that truck stop network, and we replaced it with something more modern, knowing that a lot of carriers out there either have iPads or tablets of some sort or smartphones, and so we're taking advantage of that, and you really took the truck stop network away and replaced it with all these smartphone users instead. And by doing that, we're hitting a ton more people than we were ever able to hit before. So if you want your posting to be seen by a lot more people, maybe it's been in our database for a while and no one's called you and you want to make sure you want to get a phone call, posting it to the extended network is a great idea and will let a lot more people see it. So I'm going to have all this checked and everything's ready to go, and now I'm going to hit my post button. And as soon as I do that, you're going to see that I have a new posting in here. It's posted, which means that people can actually see it right now. And I'm also going to start getting matches down below as soon as any come in. You can see that I have no exact matches at this time, and I have 26 what we call similar matches down below that don't exactly match what I'm looking for, but are pretty darn close. So anytime a new one comes in now, instead of saying on up here, you're going to see it'll change over and say new. And that means that there's a new match down here for you to look at and see if you want it. And that's how you put a new posting in. So let's talk about now how to manage these postings once you have them in the system. You can see by clicking on a posting anywhere in the top row up here, it actually expands it to show all the details that you put in. We do let you collapse it because we want you to be able to fit more on your screen at one time. So any one of these you want to look at, maybe I want to look at this Dallas, Texas to Houston, Texas one. If I pull it open now, I can see any other details that I put on that particular posting. I also, when I expand a posting, have the ability to copy, edit, or delete that posting. And those are pretty handy functions that you can use. Copying, of course, is going to take all the details of this particular posting and make a new form out of it. Now, maybe I wanted to copy it because I have the exact same posting, but instead of Little Rock to Denver, maybe this new posting is in Little Rock, and this load's going out to, let's say, Portland, Oregon. Put in Portland, Oregon, and now all I have to do is hit post, and I've got another posting in there, and I didn't have to type in all the details again. Or maybe I messed that one up. You know, that happens sometimes, and I need to edit it. It wasn't Portland, Oregon. It was Portland, Maine. So I can go in there and change OR to ME. Got my Portland, Maine in there, and I can save that change now, and I've effectively changed it from Little Rock to Portland, Maine. And of course, I can delete this. If I no longer have this load available and I want to get it off my screen, I simply have to click the delete button, and it will disappear. So that's how you can manage your postings, but we have a lot more to go over here, a lot more things we can show you. First of all, I want to show you the ability to check multiple postings at one time. So I have, maybe I want to take these two postings right here, and maybe I want to unpost them. I don't have them available anymore, so I want to get them off the database. So I click them both, come up to my little drop-down menu, and I can unpost them, or I can delete them. Unpost will simply remove them from the database and leave them on my screen. You can see they're still here on my screen, just unposted now. Whereas if I click delete, it would unpost them and remove them from my screen as well. So there's a lot of things you can do by selecting multiple postings at one time. All the functionality that we're about to cover you can do with multiple postings at one time. The next thing we'll go over is this L and what that indicates. And orange is, you're going to notice that in our Power Web system, orange means active, where gray means inactive. So if I see an orange bell, what that means is I have an audible alarm on this posting. I will hear each time a new match comes in. On a gray bell like this, if I repost this one, it's posted, but I'm not going to hear the sound every time a new match shows up down here. New matches will show up, they'll still come. I'm just not going to hear that sound. So if you have a lot of postings and they're in some major lanes where you're getting a lot of hits, you may want to decide to turn your alarm bell off, because I've talked to customers before and trained them, and I mean literally every second their alarm is going off every time a new match comes in, and it can get annoying. So you want to know how to turn that off. You simply just click your orange bell, make it gray. You'll still get the new matches, you just won't hear the sound anymore. The next one over is our keep option, and that is if you want to keep this posting around for the future. Maybe this Little Rock to Denver is a posting that I have all the time. Once a month, twice a month, I have this Little Rock going out to Denver that I need done. Well, instead of having to type all these details out every single time, how about I just keep it around? And even when it becomes unposted and is no longer available, it's still going to be on your screen. You'll still be able to come back here and quickly repost it. So for instance, if this is a kept posting right here, I could just pull it up, go to my posting screen, click on post, and there we go. It's in the database. It's in the database again, and anybody can see it. So that's a great way. It's kind of like a template. It's a way to keep postings around that you want to use in the future. We also have the ability to refresh postings. So I know a lot of you guys like to make your postings look brand spanking new. And you can do that with Power Web by using this button right here. When you hover over something that's clickable, you can see it tells you exactly what it'll do if you click on it. In this case, if I hover over this one, it says refresh in 11 minutes. Okay, so if I click on that, it turns orange, and you can see that it's actually, it says 12 minutes now, and it's going to count backwards. As soon as that 12 minutes is up, it's going to refresh that posting, and it's going to look 0 minutes old again. So the threshold is 15 minutes. We don't want you refreshing your posting any earlier than that, because, quite frankly, there's really no need to. But anybody searching for loads in our system, they can't search for any less than an hour back. So as long as your posting is under an hour old, people will still be seeing it. But once it turns over an hour, there's a chance that if people are searching for only an hour back, that they might not see it. And that's really when the refreshing becomes important. So if you wanted to, you could actually take all of your postings that you have. I'll take it to 3 that I currently have not refreshed. Come up here to my drop-down menu and hit refresh. Now all 3 of them are queued up, and they'll refresh when these counters get down to 0. Again, this makes your posting look brand new again, so people tend to like seeing the newest postings and calling on those. Now again, like I said earlier though, carriers, I am noticing that trend where carriers are starting to sort by rate a lot more than they ever used to. Now the next one that we'll cover is our rollover feature. You can see that if I hover over that, it says rollover to next business day. So from 12/31 to 1/4. Now 1/4 is the next business day, because as you know, tomorrow is a holiday, then we have the weekend, so the next business day is actually Monday the 4th. So what this feature is for is, I want to go home tonight. I don't have this load covered, but it's time to get out of here. But I want this posting to be posted over the weekend. I want it to be available still when I come back in the office Monday morning. So if I click on that, you'll see that it turns orange, and now it's going to be available Monday morning. Instead of coming in and seeing it expired, you're going to come in and see it still posted, and people will still be seeing it in our database. And at that point, when you come in Monday morning, my recommendation is to refresh it, because it's going to be kind of old at that point. So if you refresh it, it's going to go back to 0 minutes old, and that's the most you'll have to do with that posting. So roll over all of the postings you have available today for the next business day before you go home. Now that's it for the actionable buttons up here. So let's, before we go and looking at how to do searches and look at search results, let's check out what these things are right here. And this is a great way of seeing what else people have posted in your group. You can see here that it does say group, and what this means is I'm not just seeing my postings here, but I'm also seeing any other postings that people have put in that are in my office. So what's great about that is you can, if somebody in your office, like let's say this was not my posting, this was somebody else's, if they left for the day, I could take and unpost their posting and post it back up, and it's going to have my initials on it. It'll be my posting now. Or maybe they left for the day and I covered it for them, so I want to come in here and delete it. It's no longer available. Let's get rid of that one. So it lets you collaborate with other people in your office and help them out, and it also lets them help you out as well. The rest of these filters here are really just ways of filtering this list to see a unique view of it. So for instance, right now I'm looking at all my postings, but what if I just want to look at the 2 that I have kept, the 2 with orange stars? I can click on kept, and it's going to filter everything else out and just show me the ones that are kept. Now this can be very handy when you have a lot of postings in our system. So with just 1 or 2 postings, you're not going to necessarily need these filters. But if you have 10, 20, 30 postings in the system, you may want to see, hey, show me all the ones that are visible to DAT customers right now, all the ones that are posted. It's just going to show you those 3. So that's how you can use these various filters up here, and hopefully you guys can take advantage of that. Now, the next thing that I want to cover with you guys is actually the searching part of it. So let's go to the Search Trucks tab here, and we're going to actually go through and do a search together and see if we can find some trucks. So we're going to click on, just like we did on the posting form when we wanted to put a new posting in, we're going to click New Truck Search to put a new truck search in. So we'll start with any or only. Do you want any kind of van or only a specific kind of van, for instance? Like maybe I want only a dump trailer. Now this will narrow it down, your results, to exactly what you're looking for. But a lot of people like to say, you know, hey, I'm looking for just any kind of van. It can haul in a van or a van reefer or whatever kind of van. I just need a van. So let's go ahead and just put in van here, van standard. And from an origin, we'll put in Houston, Texas, in a city, state format. And for a destination, I know my load needs to go, let's say this one needs to go to Chicago, Illinois. See Chicago on my list, I'll select it. It is available today. And I want to search 150, let's just say I want to search 100 miles around Houston, and maybe I want to search 150 miles around Chicago. Put those mileages in there. I can indicate whether I want full, partial, or both returned to me. In this case, I'm just going to leave full. And then I can put a length and weight if I want to narrow it down. Maybe it's a 53-footer and 48,000 pounds. And I want to look back 2 hours. As soon as I hit search on this, it's going to come back and show me if there are any matches down below. And you can see there's no exact matches in this case. So what do you do when there are no exact matches? You'll notice this little refined search window popped up as soon as you did that, as soon as you hit the search. Now, the reason why we want this to pop up is because it's going to give you an easy way to quickly edit your search to get more results. So as you can see, I got no exact matches, but what if I look back more than 2 hours? How about I go back 10 hours? As soon as I go back 10 hours, it automatically readjusts it. I still don't have any matches. So how about I search 200 miles around Chicago, Illinois? Still no exact matches. How about 200 miles around Chicago? Or, yeah, Chicago. Still no exact matches. But what you can see here is by, maybe I want fulls, maybe I want both now. No exact matches. But what it does is it actually shows you, or it gives you the ability to quickly edit, and it'll generate new results right there for you. So if we do a new search now and show you what search results actually look like, so I'm going to do a new truck search here, and we'll do, instead of vans, we'll do flatbeds. And we'll still keep it, we'll just do a reverse search here. So we'll do Chicago this time, going to Houston, and we'll leave the parameters, the rest of the parameters the same. Now when I do that search, you can see I actually got some results there. So Chicago actually has some flatbeds in it right now. And again, I can use these sliders. Maybe I want more results. I can go up to 20 hours back, and you can see it automatically readjusts and give me more results there. So that's what this is all about over here. It can be very, very handy when wanting to make a quick edit to a search. You can also take advantage of some of the other features down below here, like where the home state is. As a broker, you often care about where the carrier is domiciled, because you know, it's carriers that are trying to go home will often do so for less money than carriers that are not trying to go home. So if you want to take this list that you have here and just find the carriers that are domiciled in Texas, so you know they're trying to go home, as soon as you click in there, it'll actually put the state of Texas in there because it's taking it right from your destination field. As soon as I click out of there, it just narrowed my list down to this company right here. And this company I can see is domiciled in Houston, Texas. So now this might be the one I want to start with because I might be able to pay a lower rate to this person than I could to these other people that are not from Texas. I can also filter out the MC. So if maybe I want to find all the companies that have an MC number less than 500,000. And this is going to assure me that I'm finding companies that have been in business for a while. So everything with an MC number of higher of 5 or over now has been weeded out, and I'm only seeing the ones with an MC number of less than 5. So that's a great way of finding companies that are not so new, that have been in the business for a while. I can also take and just, you know, maybe I want to show, you know, I just want to see all the American carrier ones. I can, under show only names, I can type in American, and as soon as I step out of there, it's going to weed everything else out that doesn't start with the word American. And you can put a comma in there and add up to 10 different names, and we'll show only those. And you can do the exact opposite by going into don't show names. Cut out all the ones that start with American. Put it in don't show names, and now all those American ones you saw, they're gone, and I'm seeing just what's left. So this refined search window, very, very handy, but if it gets in the way, you ever wanted to get it to move off to the side of your screen, just click the little caret up here, and it will slide on over, and you have your access to your entire screen again. Another thing that I want to cover with you guys is just like on the posting side, alarm sounds. You can turn your audible alarm on any of these searches that you're doing, and we'll every time a new match comes in down here, we'll alarm you, and you can hear it. Excuse me. You will also be able to see that this counter over here will increase. 1, 2, 5, 20, 30. Every time you get a new match in, you're going to see this counter go up. And that's your visual indication that, oh, I have new matches, in case you don't have your audible indication turned on. Now, down below, if things can get a little bit interesting down here, I want to cover what these search results look like and go over exact matches and similar matches and what the differences are there. First, I want to point out that just like you're posting, if you click on a search, it'll expand it. You can see more information, like, oh, this is S3 SD team. So when I call, I should ask for that team. Or wait, no, it's 53. It's 53 SD team. I can see their MC number. I can see just more information. If they put a reference ID in there, that's where I would see it. If I actually called on this one, I might want to print this out and save it for my record. So that's what this is all about by expanding it. I can also click on a particular company. If you see a blue link, it's clickable. It'll do something if you click on it. So if I click on AMK, for instance, I'm going to see some basic information that might be pretty relevant to me before I call them. The first thing I'm noticing is this caution. What is that all about? I mean, that kind of concerns me. When I see something that says caution or warning on it, I'm concerned on what that means. So if we click on it, it'll take us to our DHT directory up here, and you'll see that the safety rating is conditional. Okay, so what does that mean? If I click on the safety data over here, where the little yellow mark is, it's going to take me down to safety rating, and you can see that it is conditional right now. And maybe that means something to you. Maybe that's a deal breaker for you. And if it is, then this is the posting that you'll pass on. If it's not, then you can still look at some of the other information we have about this carrier, like all their insurance information, any reviews that other brokers have written on this particular carrier, they would show up here. And I can't, I know this particular carrier doesn't have any reviews, but I can't stress how important that part is, because let's see if I can find one that does actually have a review on it. But the reason why this is, here we go. This one has a caution, but you can also see that it has a 5-star rating. If I want to see what that's all about, I click on the reviews, and it's going to show me what another broker has said about this particular carrier. And they have some really positive things to say. You can see they rated them high in every possible category and said, yes, I recommend this company. So I'm the kind of guy that reads reviews. I don't buy anything. I don't download anything without reading the reviews first. And it has saved me from from downloading, like for instance, I recall a time where I wanted to get something from my Kindle because it was running really slow. I let my kids use it, and they really kind of installed a bunch of crud on there, and it was running really slow for me, and I wanted something that would speed it up. And so I went into the Android market, and I found what I thought was a cool program. It said it would speed my Kindle up for me. But before I downloaded it, I read those reviews. And every review I read was a 1-star review, and they all said virtually the same thing. This application is spyware. Don't install it. It's going to slow your Kindle down even more. And I didn't download it based on what other people like me said about the particular product. So same thing goes in this system. Take stock of whether a review has been written on somebody, read it, and then use your best judgment. It's not said, I'm not going to recommend that you should or should not use a particular company based on their reviews. However, I am going to read those reviews and form some sort of opinion on that, and I recommend that you guys do the same thing. If I saw a company, a carrier out there, and all the reviews said the same thing about them, that damaged goods when it arrived or whatever, a bunch of bad reviews, I'm probably not going to use that carrier because I don't want my stuff to get broken when it's on its way down to where it's getting delivered. So that is our review system, and we're very proud of it, and we hope you guys not only use it to read other people's reviews, but to write reviews on other people as well. If you've done business with someone that, a carrier that just absolutely knocked your socks off and did a great job, write them a review. Give them a glowing review of how good they are, or vice versa. If you had a carrier that really screwed up on you, write a review and let other people see that information. The other thing I wanted to point out on this little screen here is the add to preferred and block this office features that you're seeing here. Now, block this office is really nothing new. We've had this in the past, and that is I don't want to see this particular company on any more searches I do. I just don't like doing business with them. So in this case, no offense to AMK Express here, but maybe I don't want to use them. I don't ever want to see their postings. I have blocked this office, and you can see that the little icon appears, and it's blocked now. Now, they'll never show up on another search of mine as long as I do any searches. They just will not show up anymore. And that's what block is about. However, we also have the opposite of that, and that is the add to preferred. And I'm sure there are carriers out there that you guys have used that have been just phenomenal, and you would want to use them every single time if you could. Well, as you're coming across and seeing those carriers on your search results, add them to your preferred list. What that's going to do for you is you'll see that a little heart appears in front of each and every one of those. Now, where it gets really, really cool is envision you did a search and you had hundreds of results, and you're like scrolling and scrolling and just pouring through all these hundreds of results. Well, if you had a bunch of companies that you like, that you actually prefer, then you could actually come up here and hit your preferred filter, and it's going to take everything else out, all those hundreds of results that you had, and it's only going to show you the ones from companies that you have preferred. This is the list that you start with. You don't care so much about the age or anything else. At this point, you want to do business with this particular carrier. Now you can see just them and not everybody else. Now, we also like to show you that when you get results in, how many of them have been blocked. In this case, it says 2 blocked. Well, that must be because I indicated at some point that I didn't want to see a particular company, and now they're on this list. They're getting blocked from this list, or they would have shown up. If I click on my block filter, you're going to see the company in there, and that is AMK Express. Had 2 different postings in there that didn't show up because I did not want to see that particular company. Now, maybe I made a mistake. AMK is really a good company. I shouldn't have been blocking them. I can always click on them again and unblock them, and they will start showing up on my search results again at this point. So that is what you can do with these search results down here. The other thing that you can do that we like to cover with you guys is there's a couple different tools up here that you can take advantage of, and that is your hot market map and lane makers. I'm going to cover the hot market map first. As soon as I click on hot market map, it's going to take me to a new screen, and it's automatically going to have the market highlighted of where I was going, my destination market. And you can see here that was the Chicago market, and it's given me a load to truck ratio for flatbeds of 5.4. That means there's 5.4 loads for every 1 truck. So as a broker, you know that there's a lot more loads than trucks in that area. So trucks might demand a higher cost in this particular market because they are having they're able to pick and choose from a variety of loads in that market. Now, not every market is that good. You can see that if I want to click on the Florida market down here, you can see that's the Miami market, 0.9 loads for every one truck. This is one of those markets, if you had a load, that you could probably drive the rate down some and pay less because truck drivers are begging for loads in Miami. They don't want a deadhead out of there. They'll probably take a lower rate going out of Miami right now. And this is how that's how hot market map applies to you. You can look at this in addition to seeing the spot rate that I was showing you earlier. In addition to that, you can look at this and see, gosh, am I going to have to adjust my rates, or can I adjust my rates? Can I make a better profit margin in a particular region right now? Yeah, Miami. That would be one that you, as a broker, could probably make a higher profit margin because you could drive your rate that you pay the carrier down. But keep in mind, there's hot states and there's not so hot states. So if you're, and I'm going to change this market area to state view so I can get a cleaner look of it and see how some of these areas look. 37 loads for every one flatbed truck in Oregon. Those in Oregon, carriers are driving the rates up. You may have to pay more if you have a load in Oregon, right? A flatbed load in Oregon right now. So that's how you can use hot market map to your advantage. And of course, we also have vans and reefers above as well. So if I go to vans, I can see the hot market map for van. I can tell that Kansas is hot right now and California not so hot. If I go to reefers, I can also see that a lot of hot reefer states in the middle here, but get some to some of our extremities like North Carolina, South Carolina, they're not nearly as many reefers there as there are in the Midwest right now. So that's hot market map. The last one that we touch base with is called lane makers, and by clicking on that, it's going to take the lane that I had entered in the equipment type, so flatbed, Chicago to Houston, and it's going to start showing me all of the carriers that have been posting in that lane in the last 2 months. So from 10/31 to 12/30, I can see that Arlu Trucking Company has posted their truck 12 separate times in the last 2 months. That means that this trucking company is hauling in the same lane that you're posting your load in. So if you're having a hard time finding a carrier to haul your load, this might be a good place for you to go. This doesn't necessarily mean that they have a load available right now, or a truck available right now, but you can see based on the frequency of how often they may have one shortly. This might be someone, if you have a load that you're, maybe it's a static load that you're doing, twice a month. This might be a carrier that you can contract on to haul those loads for you. So great way of adding carriers to your Rolodex and really finding carriers out there that are hauling in the same lanes that you're shipping in. And that's how lane makers works. So with all of that, I'm going to open it up for questions now. So does anybody have any questions about what we've covered so far? Okay, so I'm not hearing any questions. So what I want to leave you guys with is don't forget about our help center up here. A lot of the stuff that I just covered, we have like those 2 to 4 minute videos I was telling you about, they're right in here. We have an entire section of posting loads, an entire section of searching trucks, and this can, in the future, if you have any new employees come on, you want to give them a down and dirty, this is how you use it, these videos could very well help in that. And I also want to let you guys know that training is free here, absolutely free, whether it's one person that wants training or an entire office of 50 people that want training. We're here to do that at no charge. So you simply need to call us up and let us know that you're interested in training, and we can set that up for you. We can set up a little go-to-assist meeting and have as many people join as you'd like, and we can go over a completely customized training for your needs. And again, that is at no charge, so please take advantage of that. If you have a bunch of new employees you're hired at one time, you want to take them through Power Web training, let us do that for you. We'll get on the phone with them and we'll walk them through how to use it to the best of their abilities. So with that, I want to say thank you everybody for joining up today. I had a good time going over this, and I hope you guys got a lot out of it. Until next time, thanks everybody.